Hello and welcome to the Ghost Town Chronicles. Today we continue our exploration across the United States. Let's discover 10 abandoned military bases of Washington, D.C., their history and the secrets they are hiding. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to help us continue making these series. Number 1. Fort Worden's, Port Townsend. Fort Worden's, located near Port Townsend in Washington State, USA, has a rich history. Established in the late 19th century, it was part of the Triangle of Fire, a trio of forts designed to protect Puget Sound from potential naval invasion. The fort was constructed in response to fears of a growing naval threat from European and Asian powers. Fort Worden's was activated in 1902, and its primary purpose was coastal defense. It was equipped with massive artillery guns capable of firing large shells to defend against ships. However, the anticipated naval attacks never materialized, and as naval technology evolved, the fort's big guns became obsolete. After serving as an active military base for several decades, Fort Worden's role shifted during and after World War II. It served various functions, including a training center for the U.S. Army and a venue for military exercises. The fort was officially decommissioned in the 1950s, as the need for coastal defense installations diminished. The transition to abandonment wasn't immediate, but the decline in military use led to its eventual decommission. Number 2. Fort Casey, Whidbey Island. Like Fort Worden's, it was also part of the Triangle of Fire, a strategic defense system for Puget Sound, established in response to fears of maritime attacks in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Constructed in the 1890s, Fort Casey was primarily designed for seacoast defense. It was equipped with large artillery guns capable of deterring potential naval threats. The fort played a crucial role during both World Wars, serving as a training ground for soldiers and a defense post. However, advancements in military technology, particularly in air warfare and long-range naval capabilities, rendered the fort's large coastal artillery increasingly obsolete. This shift was a common theme among such coastal defense installations across the United States. After World War II, Fort Casey's importance as a military site diminished. It was officially deactivated in the 1950s, following a similar trajectory to other forts in the region. Today, Fort Casey has been transformed into a state park, preserving its historical structures, including the impressive artillery guns. Number 3. Northern State Hospital, Sedro-Woolley. Opened in 1912, it was designed as a state-of-the-art facility for the treatment of individuals with mental illnesses. The hospital was part of a progressive movement in mental health care that emphasized treatment and rehabilitation. It housed many soldiers during its active years. The hospital was built on a large, self-sufficient campus with facilities for farming, dairy operation, and other activities that provided both therapy and sustenance for the patients. This approach was considered innovative at the time, as it combined occupational therapy with self-sufficiency. At its peak, Northern State Hospital housed a large number of patients, and was one of the largest institutions of its kind in the region. However, by the mid-20th century, the approach to mental health care began to change. The emphasis shifted from large institutional settings to smaller community-based facilities and outpatient care. This transition was driven by new psychiatric medications and a growing awareness of the importance of integrating patients into the community. Due to these changes in mental health care philosophy and practice, the hospital experienced a decline in patient numbers. Eventually, it was closed in 1973. Following its closure, the hospital's buildings and grounds fell into disuse and abandonment. Today, the Northern State Hospital campus is partially used as a recreation area and also hosts the Job Corps and a drug rehabilitation center. Some of the hospital's buildings and the surrounding land are part of the Northern State Recreation Area, offering hiking trails and open space for public use. Number 4. Fort Flagler, Marrowstone Island. Another historic military installation that was part of the Triangle of Fire. Established in 1897, Fort Flagler, along with Forts Worden's and Casey, formed a strategic defense system against potential seaborne threats. The primary purpose of Fort Flagler was coastal defense. Equipped with large artillery guns, it was strategically positioned to deter, and, if necessary, engage enemy naval forces attempting to access Puget Sound. These guns were massive and designed to protect against battleships of the era. Throughout its operational years, Fort Flagler played a crucial role in both World Wars. It served as a training ground and a defensive post, preparing military personnel for various aspects of warfare. Like its counterparts, Fort Flagler saw changes in military technology and tactics that eventually made its large coastal guns obsolete. After World War II, the importance of coastal defense forts like Flagler diminished. Advances in air power and changes in military strategy reduced the need for such installations. Fort Flagler was officially deactivated in the 1950s as part of a broader trend of decommissioning coastal defense sites. Today, Fort Flagler has been repurposed as a state park. It offers a mix of recreational activities, historical tours, and natural beauty. Number 5. Camp Lewis, Tacoma. This military base can only be considered partially abandoned, considering its merging with the adjacent McChord Air Force Base. Established in 1917, during World War I, Camp Lewis was named after Meriwether Lewis of the Lewis and Clark Expedition. The camp was initially used as a training and mobilization center for troops. It played a significant role during both World Wars, serving as a key training ground for soldiers. In these early years, it was one of the largest military reservations in the country. During World War II, Camp Lewis continued to expand and played a vital role in the war effort. Post-war, it remained an active military installation, adapting to the changing needs and strategies of the U.S. Army. In the latter part of the 20th century, the base underwent several changes, reflecting the evolving nature of the U.S. military. Significant developments included the merging with the adjacent McChord Air Force Base in 2010, leading to its current designation as Joint Base Lewis-McChord. This merger was part of a nationwide effort to streamline military installations and improve efficiency. Today, JBLM is a major active-duty military installation, encompassing both Army and Air Force units. It serves as a hub for military operations in the Pacific Northwest and plays a key role in various military capacities, including training, deployment, and logistical support. The base is home to tens of thousands of military personnel and their families. Number 6. Fort Columbia, Chinook. This fort, like others in the region, was established to protect the mouth of the Columbia River. Constructed between 1896 and 1904, Fort Columbia was one of 3 forts guarding the Columbia River's entrance, the others being Fort Stevens in Oregon and Fort Canby in Washington. These forts formed a strategic defense line to prevent enemy ships from entering the river, which was a vital transportation and economic route. Fort Columbia was equipped with several big guns and mortars, positioned to control the river approach. During its operational years, the fort was an active military post, with soldiers and personnel stationed there to maintain and operate the defensive systems. Despite its strategic importance, Fort Columbia never engaged in battle. The fortification was primarily a deterrent, part of the broader network of coastal defenses that became less relevant with the advancement of military technology, particularly air power and long-range naval artillery. The fort was officially deactivated in 1947, following the end of World War II, as the military shifted focus from fixed coastal defenses to more mobile and versatile systems. After deactivation, the fort's buildings and lands were transferred to the state of Washington. Today, Fort Columbia has been preserved as a state park. Visitors can explore historic gun batteries, barracks, and officers' quarters, which provide a glimpse into the early 20th century military life. Number 7. Fort Canby. The fort was another key component of the coastal defense system in the Pacific Northwest. Named after General Edward Canby, a U.S. Army officer, the fort was established in the late 19th century to protect the important river entrance from potential naval threats. Constructed around the same time as its counterparts, Forts Columbia and Stevens, Fort Canby was integral to the defense of the Columbia River, which was a crucial economic and strategic region. The fort was equipped with artillery batteries designed to thwart seaborne invasions. During its operational years, Fort Canby served as a coastal defense installation, with soldiers stationed there to operate and maintain its defensive armaments. Like many coastal forts of this era, it was built in response to the perceived threat of foreign naval power but never saw actual combat. With the advent of more advanced military technology, particularly after World War II, the role of traditional coastal fortifications like Fort Canby diminished. The fort was eventually decommissioned in the mid-20th century as the United States military shifted towards more modern forms of coastal defense. Today, the area where Fort Canby was located is part of Cape Disappointment State Park. Number 8. Fort Ebey, Whidbey Island. Unlike the older forts built in the late 19th and early 20th centuries as part of the Endicott and Taft coastal defense programs, Fort Ebey was constructed later, reflecting the evolving military needs and technologies of the time. The primary purpose of Fort Ebey was to protect Puget Sound, particularly the naval installations at Bremerton, from potential enemy naval and air attacks during World War II. The fort was equipped with large guns and other military installations designed to defend against seaborne and airborne threats. Fort Ebey's strategic importance stemmed from its location, which provided a commanding view of the Strait of Juan de Fuca and the approaches to Puget Sound. This made it a key part of the region's defensive network during the war. After World War II, with the changing nature of military threats and technology, the need for traditional coastal defense forts like Ebey decreased. Fort Ebey was eventually decommissioned, and its military role ceased. In the post-war years, the site of Fort Ebey was repurposed for public use. Today, it is part of Fort Ebey State Park, a popular recreational area. Number 9. Sandpoint Naval Air Station, Seattle. Established in the 1920s, the station initially served as a base for seaplanes, with its strategic location on Lake Washington making it ideal for such operations. Throughout its operational years, Sandpoint Naval Air Station played various roles in the Navy's aviation activities. It served as a key site for seaplane operations, pilot training, and aircraft maintenance. During World War II, the station became particularly important, expanding its facilities and increasing its activities to support the war effort. It was used for assembling and repairing aircraft, as well as training pilots and aircrew. After World War II, the station continued to serve as an aviation facility, adapting to changes in naval aviation technology and needs. However, by the latter part of the 20th century, advances in aircraft technology and shifts in military strategy led to a decrease in the station's role. The Sandpoint Naval Air Station was officially decommissioned in the 1970s, with its aviation activities winding down and the property eventually being turned over to the city of Seattle. Since its decommissioning, the site has been repurposed for civilian use and is now known as Magnuson Park. Number 10. Fort Ward, Bainbridge Island. Part of the broader network of military installations designed to protect Puget Sound, Fort Ward was specifically aimed at defending against potential naval threats. Constructed prior to World War I, Fort Ward was equipped with gun batteries for coastal defense. Its strategic position allowed for control and protection of the Rich Passage, a key maritime approach to the Bremerton Naval Shipyard and the Puget Sound Naval Yard. The fort's armaments were intended to deter, and, if necessary, engage enemy ships attempting to penetrate into Puget Sound. During World War II, Fort Ward's role expanded. It became an important communication center, particularly for radio intelligence. The fort was involved in intercepting and deciphering enemy communications, playing a crucial role in the Pacific Theater's intelligence operations. Following the war, with advancements in military technology and changes in defense strategy, the need for traditional coastal defense installations like Fort Ward decreased. The fort was eventually decommissioned, and its military use was phased out. Today, the site of Fort Ward is a public park known as Fort Ward Park. Make sure to check our video on 10 abandoned military bases in California. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. See you next time for more Ghost Town Chronicles.